Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Brown's Latest. I'm Dave Grendzynski, and this is where you can pop on in and get caught up on some of the latest news involving our Cleveland Browns and get a 10-minute take or so along the way. If you can, please like and subscribe to the channel, and also get those comments down in the viewer comment section. Coming up on today's show, OTAs are in the books, at least the first round. We still got 2 more rounds of this to go, folks. But we'll let you know what we have learned here now that the first round is over. Also, a Fox Sports analyst going off about the coverage our quarterback battle is getting. Hey, there's a new leader emerging on offense, and it's not one of the quarterbacks. And down in the viewer comments, one viewer says, there's only one obvious choice for the franchise quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, and he's going to let us know who it is. All right, so let's get going here. First things first, because we got a lot to unpack. What have we learned from this first round of OTAs? Well, here I'll tell you, folks. It's first things first. It is going to be super tough for one of the rookies to win the quarterback job for game one, week one. I mean, what Flacco is doing already, I mean, he shows you just, man, his command of this system really showing out. And he's proving that, yeah, he's a factor. I think he's very much in the running for QB1. At least early on, after what we saw this week, and again, it goes back to just his understanding of the offense. And you watch some of these videos and the way he communicates with the wide receivers and things, like he has definitely got a leg up on the rest of the competition because of his years of experience. And then Kenny Pickett, I mean, he's a vet too. So I just think it's going to be super. It'll be, like I mentioned before, a monumental effort for one of the rookies to beat out one of the vets, especially Joe Flacco, here in heading as we get closer to training camp. So the other thing that we took away, hey, the defense is probably gonna make the rest of that defensive front is gonna make the rest of the defense look better. I mean, this defense should improve overall, and it'll start with that front line. I mean, we should have a consistent push up front and from the edges for the first time in I don't know how long. Other things to take away, this rookie class is looking really good, folks. I mean, Judkins and Sampson, they look like that 1-2 punch we expected. Carson Schlesinger also looking good, but Mason Graham, man, showing up. All of these guys, I mean, Mason Graham was going to be a full-time starter immediately. Schlesinger, most likely a full-time starter immediately. Judkins and Sampson, I mean, they're already your top 2 running backs. And so, and then we haven't even gotten to Harold Fannin Jr. yet. I mean, he's flashing, already in these OTAs. And, I mean, early indications, this could be Andrew Berry's best draft class yet, And, I mean, you have Shador, and Dylan Gabriel's down there. Like this really could be the best draft class he has put together so far. So what's next? Okay, OTAs will continue next week, the 3rd and the 4th, and then they'll go again on the 6th. So same type of schedule as they had this week. It's a Tuesday, Wednesday, and then back on Friday. Minicamp then starts June 10th through 12, the 10th to the 12th, and then there'll be another set of OTAs June 16th through 19th. So, guys will get to go through minicamp, and the younger guys, they'll get a chance to kind of apply what they learned during minicamp. And so this is a long process, folks. And so and we're just getting, the train is just leaving the station, and there's so much that seems to have been going on already, but we're only a few practices into this. And so but we have learned some things over the course of this week. Well, one thing we learned is this Mark Schlereth is not happy with the way everybody's covering the Browns quarterback battle. I mean, it's been the talk of, it's the talk of the NFL world, folks. Our 4 quarterbacks, and of course you have Shador in there as well. But here's what Mark Schlereth said. I mean, remember he played for the Broncos, and now he's an analyst for Fox. He's like, this is stupid. He said, we get excited about OTAs. What people don't understand is that oftentimes in these OTAs, we will script success. As an offense, we'll go, okay, we're going against our second team defense. Let's make sure we script a great route combination against a really tough defensive look that they're overmatched in, that happens, and we'll get to that in a second. he went on to say, sometimes we put together these situations where it's not the best on the best. And so, and that's what, I mean, it just naturally happens in OTAs where, I mean, this is why you have to take a lot of some of the stuff with a grain of salt, whether it's 7-on-7s, or whatever. But sometimes, you have ones working against twos, ones working against threes, twos working against threes, twos working against fours. You just don't know sometimes who you really have to pay attention to what's going on in these videos to get a fair assessment of, what actually happened on a certain play during OTAs. Because, I mean, there's no tackling, then there's very little pass rush and things. So anyway, that's what he's saying. He's just saying that sometimes they'll set it up in these OTAs where the offense says, hey, today we're going to win the drill. Tomorrow the defense will get to win the drill because the number 1 defense will go against the number 3 offense. So that's what Schlereth is saying. But here's what I want to tell Mark Schlereth: can we just have this, please? Can you just let us have this? Because we've been watching Deshaun Watson, that debacle for the last few years, like the quarterback situation we watched. We thought we had something with Baker, and then that fell apart. Like Manziel was a mess. Like for once, we've got 4 capable quarterbacks who are great human beings. And we want to talk about them. We want to brag about them. And that is why all of this is under the microscope. So Mark Schlereth, could we please just have this, please? We don't get to root for much, but this one, let us just have this, please, Mark. Thank you. Okay, now look around. Jerry Jeudy, man, he is really emerging as a leader on this offense. And if you saw some of the videos over the past week, and they had him mic'd up one practice. He is really, he's really impressing me. And, here's his stats over the last 4 years. And this is from the NFL, and they went backwards. You could see his first year in Denver's at the bottom, and then work your way up to the Browns last year. And you see him in 1,200 yards last season, his first 1,000-yard season. They had that huge game when we went back to Denver. He had his that Monday night game, 235 yards and 9 catches. And I'll tell you, folks, if you look into between the lines on some of these videos that have come out, he is really developing a rapport with Flacco. The communicate that they're talking all the time, and even Pickett, he talked to Pickett too. But Jerry Jeudy seems like he is all in. He's coaching up the young guys, and I'm seeing a lot of plays where they're getting him in space. I saw a play where he came in motion and actually kind of tucked himself behind the slot receiver, and then broke to the sideline, and they hit him there, and it was almost like a makeshift screen. I just see that, I think he's gonna get the ball a lot, folks, with these high percentage passes, these short passes, and he's gonna have a lot of opportunities to run after the catch. The other thing too, we talked about Flacco and Pickett. He liked the comment on X. Somebody had posted something that said 12-3 is going to feed families, referring to Shedeur Sanders and the Jeudy connection. And so he's obviously developing a rapport with all of the quarterbacks, but some of those, he could be for Joe Flacco what Amari Cooper was. And Cooper, he just burst onto the scene when Flacco showed up. And we're going to talk about this more in tomorrow's show with Joe Flacco, like what went wrong in Indianapolis. But that was one of the problems. They didn't really have a number 1 receiver. And Joe Flacco, you can see, can turn anybody into a number 1 receiver. He did it with Cooper coming off the couch. And so it'll be very interesting to see. The other thing with Jeudy, too, is that why I think he's going to have a big season is look at his list of quarterbacks that he's had, outside of Deshaun. But Drew Lock, Driscoll, Brett Rippon, Teddy Bridgewater, Russell Wilson, Jarrett Stidham. So he really hasn't had that consistent quarterback play. So who knows? Who knows what this year's season will bring? But I'm expecting really, really big things from him going forward. So that's kind of what we learned here over the last week or so. And one other thing we know is that your viewer comments, they're already in mid-season form. You guys don't need OTAs. You hit the ground running. And so we're going to start with David Tyson, 5636. He says, I'm not a Browns person, but after seeing Shedeur come into the organization, I believe the Cleveland Browns have an opportunity that only comes around once in a lifetime. If you all let this pass by, God knows you will never ever get an opportunity like this. So I hope you open your eyes. And so we talked about this on yesterday's show. Like, yeah, he is. I want to see him get his shot, because if there's anybody, to take on this Cleveland against the world mentality, it's him. Because, I mean, that's what he carries with him, right? And so I really want to see him get his shot. I think he will, but it's a slow burn, folks, with these rookie quarterbacks, with Flacco and Pickett up ahead of him. It could be sooner than later, because of injuries, but this is going to be a slow burn. But man, oh man, when he gets his shot, it'll be must-see TV. Not just here, it'll be must-see TV around the world. I mean, around the league. It's going to be something to watch. Olaf Vidar, 9315 says, Shedeur is the obvious franchise quarterback long term. Keep Gabriel as his backup, trade Kenny Pickett, and let Flacco expire into retirement. Eventually, I think that's, some form of that is going to happen. And so we'll see. And like I said, I think Kenny Pickett will have to go out and win a Super Bowl this year in order for them to pay them. They've already said they're not picking up that fifth-year option. So Pickett is playing for his NFL life in a lot of respects this season. Jabari Edwards Jr. says, Brown should go after Von Miller for his last season. He said him, Miles, and Mason would be a trouble for any offensive line. Yeah, I think so. I think that, Miller's 36. In Buffalo, it was a cost-cutting move. They got rid of him. But I do think the Browns will probably bring in somebody else. There are a couple other guys out there that could fit, but I think they want to get through OTAs and everything first, and training camp, and get into training camp and then see. They'll assess everything at that point. But Von Miller, not a bad. You could do worse, I think. So. But I think this defense is definitely going to be improved. Temperius One says, okay, now he's talking about, remember I said the roster rankings, Pro Football Focus ranked our roster last and said our offense is just absolutely putrid. So Temperius, I like the way he's thinking. He says 32 is the best place to start. We can only move up. I agree. And so I did think about that. I was like, well, at least there's only one way to go, right? There's only one way to go is up. And so I do think that all around, I just think when you watch these videos, like everybody seems into it. There seems to be an energy out there in Berea now that wasn't there before, and I think it has a lot to do with one certain person. I hate to say it, but yeah, it was just such a wet blanket on that offense. Watching Deshaun go out there, and they're trying everything they can to make it work, and it just wasn't ever going to work. So now there's new life. There's fresh. There's a lot of pep in the step out there, and so it's good to see. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. Thanks so much for watching it. Go Browns. We'll see you next time.